We are talking Off-Season. This one is written and directed by Keating and stars Jocelin Donahue as Marie. Now this is a Lovecraftian style, slow burn, atmospheric horror film. And we have Marie and her partner travelling to this kind of small island where her mother's grave has apparently been vandalised, and she gets a letter saying come there immediately because they are kind of closing the island for the off-season, hence the title, and they need to kind of get there quickly and kind of sort it out. And they have essentially one bridge which kind of closes over the kind of the off-season period, so they try and get there, but when they arrive there is something off-kilter about the island itself and their inhabitants, and there seems to be a kind of permanent fog a la kind of Silent Hill style over this kind of island, and as we learn there may well be some type of otherworldly presence there as well. What'll happen? You're going to have to check the movie out. So let's discuss what I think works about this movie. Certainly a slow burn movie, and it does really remind me of the works of H.P. Lovecraft, in particular Dagon, although I don't believe this is an official adaptation or anything like that. It's obviously kind of influenced by it, and you'll see more than one kind of like familiar kind of a theme that you would have seen in Lovecraft's work. But I've got to say it's very, very atmospheric. I mean, the kind of this island kind of setting, this seemingly kind of mist that stretches everywhere, kind of cutting off escape routes. The forest around them seems to kind of change and kind of trap they're in. There's no way kind of to escape, it seems. Everyone kind of acts just a little bit off kilter without being kind of overtly kind of hostile necessarily. It's just a very, very kind of atmospheric movie, and really has this chilling and kind of spooky vibe kind of permeating every pore of this movie. So great work in the atmosphere here. And also have to say, I think the cast do a pretty good job here. You will see genre favourite Richard Brake turn up in a couple of scenes, but I think everyone does a good job here of portraying characters and playing them deliberately kind of a little bit kind of off kilter here. It's not a particularly effects heavy movie, but when we do see some stuff which is clearly kind of supernatural, I think it's done just well enough. It's somewhat kind of shrouded in mist and darkness, a little bit kind of CGI enhancements, but the movie is deliberately kind of dark, so I think it covers any kind of like rough edges that the kind of the special effects kind of may have, and it's used sparingly. So when you do see something, it obviously affects you maybe more than if it was a little bit more kind of overt. And it has a somewhat intriguing premise, as I said, that will remind you of Lovecraft, and you'll kind of guess where it's going, to be honest with you. But nonetheless, it is somewhat of an intriguing slow burn movie. Let's transition to maybe what doesn't work. I think this will be too slow for some. It is a lot of a woman wandering around in the fog. There's a lot of that in this movie, with kind of minimal dialogue in kind of certain sequences, and I feel that people who want to get on to the kind of the next plot point may be a little bit perturbed by its kind of slow pace, and even it maybe kind of borders on a little bit dull at times, if we're being completely kind of honest here. You wonder why these characters didn't get out of Dodge the first thing, the first time something kind of weird happens, which is kind of more or less when they kind of straightly get on the island, to be honest. I think there's clearly kind of something kind of going on at first, but people just sort of dismiss it, as they sort of do in films. You're thinking, why wouldn't you just get off at this point? I mean, only, to be honest with you, the reason why she's there is a grave has been disturbed. It's not like, to me, that isn't a particularly pressing need. It's not something that needs to be done, all of that kind of instantly, because ultimately, where else could that, what else is going to happen? To be honest, it's done. It's not as much you could do about it. So to me, I didn't really feel that there was this real pressing need to kind of have to stay there and things like this. I think the boyfriend is a little bit kind of underdeveloped. He's just kind of like there to have someone to talk to for our kind of our Marie character, but he kind of disappears for long kind of portions of the movie. And as I've mentioned, it is kind of predictable, and it is maybe a little bit too slow for some. But overall, this movie is all about the atmosphere. So if you like a moody, kind of dark kind of entertainment, that is a slow burn and is kind of like more about kind of setting this kind of this dark and foreboding kind of feeling rather than any type of real genuine kind of like scares or kind of set pieces or jump scares or anything like that, then you may want to check it out. Albeit there are a couple of good visuals here, I will say. I'll give this one a 6 out of 10. I do think it's a well-made film, certainly on a artistic level where it is, you know, has a certain kind of artistic style to it, but I don't know if it's all that interesting, to be honest with you. But it's a 6 out of 10. It is an above average film in my estimation. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.